seed in our homeland, boys. Let it grow where all can see. Feed it with our devotion, boys. Call it the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Save it from the storm, boys. Water down its roots with tea. And the sun will always shine on the old Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. March along with the piper, boys. We were born forever free. Let's go pay the piper, boys, beneath the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Pay the price they're asking, boys. Always pay the tyrant's fee. Never give up the struggle, boys. Fight for the Liberty Tree. It's a...
I had a dream the other night that, well, I didn't understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we hoped you'd always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun. Permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent. Although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. Taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm and keep our country deep in debt, put men of God in jail, harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn, and your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? O sons of the Republic, arise. Take a stand. Defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. Pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now, as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you. God bless this republic.
There we go. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first hour of the afternoon intelligence report. I'm Mark Kernke. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, southwest, north, northeast, and east. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube, live stream, and we are on AM and FM micro stations, AM and FM conventional stations, CB base stations, and Ultranet, Hallmark, and Golden Spike technologies, east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, along with CONUS, the outlying two states, the territories, and the clock. Somewhere it is midnight, somewhere it's midday, but right here at the bottom of southeastern Michigan, it is 5:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, it's Tuesday, Communications Tuesday. It's the 17th of November, 12th year of open Fabian Socialist and in-your-face Soviet Socialist occupation of America with a K. 2020 Old Earth calendar, 2020 year of conflict, year of betrayal. Congratulations. It's Battle for the Republic, Dance of Swords, the beginning. And we had a little cooler. Well, windy the last couple of days. Hadn't mentioned that yesterday over the weekend. We had a couple of days of major gusts, which brings down a lot of firewood. And we're burning some of that right now. As a matter of fact, if I'd been faster today, I'd have filled up the truck with more firewood, already aged from the ash borer. We got tons of ash borer trees that should have been burned 2 years ago, a year ago. The idiot stick eco-freaks now been talking to letting the forest get devoured by the ash borer, which doesn't just stay with the ash tree, it goes to others also. In fact, it hits 2 or 3 of the breeds of pine tree bad, and they're some of the more noble trees that are being fragged right now by the ash borer because the idiot eco-freaks, we can't burn firewood, oh my God, carbon, the footprint, yeah, right up your arse, you dingleberries. Idiot sticks with no clue. And they, of course, where do they come from? The public fool system. So what do you expect? Nimrods, idiot sticks, and fools. And I don't want them with us. You don't want to make friends with them. They are stupid. They will stay stupid. They like their stupid. It's like this foolishness with the face bra dog muzzle, okay? You've got goofs out there that it's their forte to be part of it. It's like they got a special pat on the head, squeeze on the rumpus, and they're a bunch of dweebs, okay? Anyway, the stupid are out there in forest. The stupid, it burns! Yes, it does. So anyway, as it is, pretty good pickings right now. No, we have had no snow in the bottom of the state. We've had a little sprinkling. I've one little dust here. A little dot, not even a dust, strung like a dot in the air. Hits the ground's not frozen, it ain't sticking. And in fact, there's no snow even. When I say that, I'm telling you, I can see a fleck. It kind of wheedles down and it dissolves before it hits the ground. So that's something we've had a couple of times in the last 2 weeks. So we are blessed with a longer stay of execution before the winter combat situation develops completely. And you should be digging in accordingly. I understand the guy's got other ditch work and also culvert work done. I say congratulations, didn't get this until last night. Ditch work and culvert work done up at Camp Nagahitchum. We had a bunch of stuff donated up there by a concrete contractor just casting. And these are the undelivered items. They gave them to us. So we have underground complexes that have been built up, Mount Underground. We have fortifications that are steel and concrete lined and, riveted with hatchways and, tunnels from one position to the next, all totally bunkered in. And all blems, seconds and blems. If it's older, we don't care. We're going to turn them upright. Think about this. You take those 4-foot pieces of concrete tubing that are about, 4, 5, 6 feet around, the little joiner sections. They're more than deep enough. They're perfect for fighting positions. You take the female side and put it up, and you have a little fighting ledge, because remember, the one piece has to fit, goes onto. This is just big butt plumbing fixtures. Well, you put that up, fill the bottom with pea gravel, even put a grenade sump in there or two, and you also have typically a hatchway for a manhole cover. Well, you put that down, and that's deep enough underground that the 3-foot pipe that we got for free, you run that to the next fighting position. And then you take concrete slabs that we get from the same contractor where they do bridging pieces, and that becomes your overhead cover. So we're talking a totally revetted, totally reinforced, and ain't going to slide in. They're not going to be all full of dirt. You got good overhead coverage. You got drainage, the whole 9 yards. You know how to do your sculpting around the outside of the position. Everything runs away from it, but you still camouflage and terrain it enough that it looks a la natural. And from above, kick butt, take names, and hard to find. So that's what they were doing this weekend. And double plus good. The more we can get underground or get into positions, now better off we are. And don't worry, the concrete, the cement contractors, they're going to have more blems. So it's freebies. We don't have to spend anything other than the time to move them. But once we get them, we better use them. Another trick, even if they're above ground, guys, sandbags. What you do is make, full protection, channel cover, and then sandbag up all of the tunnel, all the tube you make. Go look at the combat engineer manuals and fortification manuals on specs for defense protection against mortars and artillery. No, it's not going to stop everything. You'd be a stupid idiot to think so. Oh, it's not like the government does. Oh, yeah, it's just like the government does. This is exactly what the government does. This is how the government is taught to build field fortifications. Okay? So for anybody, pull your head out of your hind end on that one. If some idiot stick next to you is going, oh, that's stupid, the government went, who cares what the government's doing anyway? I mean, other than the fact we know that the wicked evil bastards are planning on joining with the communists, the Bidenites, to rape, kill, pillage, and burn America. That's the one thing we know for sure. So get done what you can. These guys did a great job. I want to say thank you to the 6th Colonial Marine Combat Engineer Regimental Combat Team. Wait a minute, not 6th RCT, forgive me. 416th Detachment and 417th Detachment, a couple of our contractor companies. The guys are engineer units, and since they're all former Marine, that's where you put them, over with the Marines. Anyway, what else do we have that was exciting? I wanted to check, but I'm pretty sure AIM Surplus has had nothing new. I keep an eye on them because they give you kind of a feel for what always pops up with everybody else in the replacement category with regard to what little is out there, okay? And they do keep their prices down, so no, nothing new. In fact, they're run down again to 7. They got 7 flavors of ammo. Wow. You can get 45 gap. You can get 50 caliber BMG. You can get 8x56R for the Steyr straight pull. 8mm Kurtz for the MP44. 7.62x54R, and that's actually still a good buy for the copper washed steel case. Double-aught buck, still got some of that, and some 308. They do have a few standard calibers, not much, but they do have some. And that's it. Otherwise, again, the other place to look real quick, unammo.com, www.unammo.com. And I'm going to kind of walk through this again, Communications Tuesday, but with things going the way they are, I've had people asking me about where can I find. Okay, well, here's some of the ideas. Well, they do have 300 blackout for $1 a round. Oh, God. And that's wolf ammo. $1 a round for wolf ammo. Steel case wolf ammunition, 500 rounds for $570 delivered. Oh, wow. Anyway, this is why 7.62x39 just makes more sense. 43.5 cents a round. 1,000 rounds for $435 even, okay? Shipped to your door. That's the price shipped to your door. It's the cheapest 7.62x39 of the bunch that I've seen. They do have, wait a minute. That's the sound of the men working on the ammo gang. No, actually. Let's see. Looks like we got some ham tins that came in, but I'm curious, they're manufactured in Russia by Bernal for Wolf. Barnaul. Let's see here what's going on, and I'm going to give you a price here in a second. Divided by, let's do 700. 42.7 cents a round, which is not bad. You can still get, it actually is the cheapest. What am I talking about? Okay, the way it looks, they have round sealed spam cans, but with only 700 rounds per can, which is kind of, I'd have to see these. There's no picture. They don't have a picture of them. Usually you're looking at, anywhere from 700 minimal to more likely anywhere from 900 to 1,200 rounds per can, and 1,400 just a little deeper. 700 is kind of shallow on the count for the cans, but I do like the idea that it's in sealed spam cans. So for the same price that you would pay for the other loose ammunition, which is okay if that's what you're going to load it up in the mags, you don't worry about the cans. But if you're looking for cash ammunition to store, this stuff is already in the spam cans. That's what makes it worth spending the money on, okay? That's what you're paying for, is storage potential, okay? And that's something that everybody needs to remember. 46.4 cents a round shipped. So it's more expensive than the Red Army, but less expensive than the Russian mil-spec ammo, mil grade that they've got just below it. It's right in between price-wise. But that's worth it. If you're looking for stuff to put in caches, put in tunnels, corridors, barns, back locations out in the middle of BFE, remember, these cans are designed to be stored in the field. However, the better you do at covering and concealing everything and keeping it out of the weather, the better off it'll be. So here's what's really cool. If you get these cans, one of the things that you can do is store them in the 18-gallon open top with handles type barrels. Now, don't you fill it up with those, it's going to be so heavy you're not moving it easily. You're going to need a two-wheel dolly. Might move it with those handles on it, but I don't think so. However, the advantage, double protection. Okay, you've got the can, and then it's inside another sealed environment. That is a good thing. Then you put that inside a cache, a cairn, a tunnel network, a building, a barn, wherever you store that barrel, it isn't going anywhere. You put it, in the middle of the straw bales. You put it, in the middle of the straw bales, literally. Make a tunnel. And then seal it back up. You can cache this stuff everywhere, but I wouldn't just do it in the cans. It actually, again, advantage, you can do a couple of tins. You can do a weapon or two, put those in their own containers, so to speak, and seal everything up inside one of these smaller 18 or 30-gallon barrels. Take your pick. There's a couple in between. There's obviously 18. I think, what's the other one? 25, and then there's 30s at least, and there may be some in between. Who knows? But that's what the tinned ammo's for. If you were to buy it, I would not be buying the tin ammo to be your shooting ammo. I would buy the other loose stuff that's out there in these cardboard boxes, and that's what you load your magazines up with right now. If you're going to buy the tins, you have to be religious about not opening them, and you have to be religious also about making sure you buy extra can openers or keep can openers handy to get into the blasted things, okay? I'll just read what it says here. This is 762 by 39 FMJ 123 grain Wolf 700 round sealed spam cans. This is manufactured in Russia by Bernal for Wolf. These are sealed in vacuum packed spam cans. They are in 20 round boxes. That's maybe the odd man out, but it depends on the size. With 35 boxes neatly tucked inside. Each can ships with an opener tool. Okay, cool. Each can ships. So double plus good there, because they're trying to charge you extra for the can openers now. So that is a good deal. Okay, this ammo is great to shoot tomorrow or put away for years. Yes, deeper into the war. Seriously, that's what this is for. If you're serious and you're listening to me right now and you're looking at caching, the other stuff you're going to have to buy cans to put in. Or, like I said, you buy the cheapest, the Red Army, for $4.35 shipped to your door, and that's what you're going to load your mags up with and have ready to fight. Your spam cans go to your caches, and yes, it's worth a few extra pennies to have it sealed in the tins, completely environment sound. Seriously. I would go so far as to even wherever you can, cover up the information, and I'd even spray paint the sucker with more paint. Why not? It's cheap. I don't care what color, although tactical would be nice. But paint it again. Why not? More is better. Governments do minimal. That's not us. Okay? Always remember that. That's not us. That's the bean counters working for the the kosher mafia and the Jewish mobsters stealing from us. Okay? We know how that works. If they can do one thread instead of two threads and tell you they did two threads, trust me, they're going to do one thread and lie through the ass. Okay? Just that simple. Boy, I'm telling you. So anyway, other things. They do have a couple of different. In fact, I'll go a little farther down. WPA Wolf FMJ 124 grain for $430. Again, not in the tins. They only got a couple of cases of those left, and that's gone. 1,000 rounds, $430. So you saved $2. Well, $5. I'll say $5. $5 is another magazine almost, or another bunch of ammo. So get the cheapest here, and then buy the cans, and they have 19 in stock, and that's it. I would be buying the tins if you're planning on storing right now. I would buy the tins right now. I would spend the money and buy the tins right now. I would buy the tins right now. Am I using emphasis added, do you think? That's that biblical thing. I repeat 3 times for a reason. Also, again, like I said, repeat. That means fire on our target. Fire. Fire. Repeat, more. Oh, God. That's why some people only figure that out if they have only listened to us for a few days, if they know what I've said decades ago, or last year, or the year before, or 2 years before. Of course, if everybody listened even a year ago, you bought twice as many AR-15 kits as you can buy now for the same amount of money. And your money's worth less, obviously, across the board now, isn't it? Yes, Uncle Mark was right about that one. And pretty much all the rest. So do what you can with what you got. We'll try to find better deals and help you out, but you're going to make a final decision. That's up to you. Somebody told you, you're going to spend top dollar to get the bit. No, you don't. To be quite honest, okay, let me put it this way. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 different Russian-grade ammunitions available at UN Ammo right now. 7.62 by 39. Not a dime's worth of difference between them, hardly at all, except for 2 things that I mentioned. Number 1, the Russian mil-spec ammo, as I mentioned before, although it does have a little bit of a lacquer finish, remember, it also has a lacquer paint candelure seal and primer seal. Some of the other ammo does not, and you can see that plainly in the images, okay? Well, that's a little bit of money that they didn't spend so they could offer the stuff a little cheaper. Again, because of that, I would prioritize, for instance, if I had cases of all this ammunition sitting there, the tinned ammo goes way to the back and doesn't get touched, and I would slap you in the hind end or smack you side the head if you even went near it with a can opener. The next that I would save for longer would be the Russian mil-spec ammo with the candelure paint. Why? Because it will store longer than the other 2 in terms of long-term reliability. Now, am I really worried about either the other 2, the Red Army or the Wolf Military Classic? Nope. Both of those will work just fine, but I just gave you a pecking order for storage if you're if you're into supply. The cans don't get touched. The lacquer ammo is used 3rd to last. 2nd and 1st would be the other WPA ammo and the Red Army ammo, because they're just a little cheaper, but they all function the same way. Okay, and by the way, the Russians don't use that grade of powder for any of their export ammo, and this is all export ammo. So whatever they're doing here, with the exception of maybe those tins, but those tins, I don't know for sure who they contracted them for. When the Russians do stuff to somebody else, they ratchet down the grade, just like America does. America doesn't do any different when it pisses on its allies, okay, especially peon allies that they want to screw so they can get them killed off so they can steal the stuff in their country, okay? That's how it works. So the Russians are no different. Nobody's any different. The Chinese were doing the same thing. You think they were sending us the absolute best? Hell no, they were selling us whatever grade they could dig off the shelf. Hell, they sent us their throwaways and all the handguns we bought. Same with a lot of the other Mausers and stuff I've mentioned many, many times. They were junking those because nobody in the market wanted them. But we turned them right around. Why? Because we actually do know what to do with our little paws and machines. Anyway, one other thing here real quick. Marine rescue flares, they still have them. If you don't have pyrotechnics of any kind, go over to unammo.com, scroll down, 1 minute Payne Wessex super bright marine rescue flares. They're not for rescue, they're for incendiary work. If I want to burn something, run a fuel trail from the back end of a tank, open up all the caps, splash up the area there. You want to make sure it lights, guess what? This is what you use. In fact, if you're smart, you use it and you toss it towards something else you got pooled up or canned or tinned open that you smacked with you smacked open and dumped out. And boom, 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 boom. There you go. Let the fuel do the burn for you, since you can't take the vehicles with you, okay? But these are very handy because you can dump them down tubes. They burn, 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 and when they hit, they are going to burn, burn, burn. So they are useful. Anyway, it's 50 pieces delivered to your door for $75. If you can go pick them up, they're $50. It's a $25 shipping charge because they are a pyrotechnic. I have actually gotten these free on the curb where people bought these from these companies and put them out by the road because their panty waists and their wives told them, oh my God, you gotta get them away. I talked to my other girlfriends and the girlfriends are all pissant. They picked at me and I picked at you. This actually is what I got from the two people that I even asked them. I didn't just pick the stuff up. I said, there's like a couple $100 worth of pyrotechnics here. Hey, are you sure you want to get rid of them? And the guy looks first over at his wife, and that told me right there, yep, panty waist. But you know what? I didn't argue at all. I just threw them right in the vehicle right away, and now that $300, $400, $500 worth of flares and parachute flares and ground pyrotechnics were mine and free. I didn't even have to pay the $25 pyrotechnic charge, Class C, explosive/flammable charge. Isn't that nice? Somebody else did. I love it. See, that's what I told you. The panty waist may or may not motivate, but what will happen is one family member or another will start to be the little, prissy commie, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I gotta get rid of them. That's one thing you always want to watch for. Remember, get them out of their hands, move them sideways, and then don't tell anybody where they went. In fact, go find a stranger friend and have them pick them up, and that way they'll believe that they went that way when they're going somewhere else. We know all these tricks. Trust me, we've seen this all before. We know exactly how the system works and how people work. So don't try and convince them not to. You walk away, you know what's going to happen? As soon as you walk away, the same voice that was telling them to get rid of the stuff will be right there pecking at their ear again, and they'll hand it over to a stranger who is not your friend or doesn't appreciate what they're picking up. You're better off just asking once, and then once they, they still do their panty waist thing. Oh, okay, no problem. Take it on down the road. Don't think twice about it. Don't even smile and wave, and don't feel bad. You just saved that equipment for the Patriot effort. That's something you all need to be ready to do. And don't hesitate. Don't think twice. Move on it. Seriously. When you find something like that, move on it. ASAP. Anyway, let's see, what else do we have? They do have parachute flares. I have to mention this because some of you people are new listeners. If we are looking for parachute flares, at the bottom of the page, they got some goodies. Look at the guy scrolled all the way down to the bottom. Ignore the blanks. They're not useful right now, and the price is too high. They want more money, as much money for blanks as you'd pay for a ball round. Now, granted, I can make those blanks into something useful, but that's too much money. Anyway, they do have flares, a pallet full. Here's a buy for you. 1,800 units. Now, you know what they mentioned up above there, what the price for the flares was, right? I'm double-checking here. Screen, red cap, pull, string, hold, burn for 1 minute. Yep, it's the same flare. Anybody got $1,750? For $1,750, you get a pallet of 1,800 of those flares. Do the math. That's less than $1 a unit, and that's delivered. this is definitely a worth grabbing item. So if one of you bigger units out there, if you were smart, I would get all the buds together real quick here, and each man should have 10, 20, 30 of these flares. I mean, come on, guys, that's cost. 1,008, whoever gets there first wins. 1 minute Payne's Wessex hand flares, Mark 8, 1,800 units, a pallet, that's a whole pallet, 97 cents a piece, $1,750 for a pallet full of these. That's a giveaway price. Hell, they're just fun for setting off and lighting up the night. Of course, now you can launch these things, too, if you know what you're doing. More on that in a minute. It's kind of fun. Make your own, let's just say, Colster mortar, so to speak, with a 2-inch piece of pipe or a 3-inch piece of pipe, galvanized steel, preferably a little thicker wall. Fence post is great. Cap on the end. Boom. Yeah, you dump the flare downrange and, let it drop wherever. You don't care. In fact, if it's also this time of year, it'd be very incendiary, wouldn't it? Oh, wow. Start grass fires at night. That illuminates the battlefield without you having to worry about lighting the flare again and lighting the flare again. No, you don't have a problem with that. We're at war. So anyway, there's the solution. Again, they only have one pallet right now. 1,800 pieces per pallet. Go to unammo.com. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. When you get down to the bottom, you'll notice their flares are there and all the information's there. Uncle Mark doesn't need to say anymore, okay? And yes, they do have blanks, but of course they don't have ammo. That's why, not enough. The other thing here real quick is they do have the adapter inserts from one flare size to the next. And I've had a lot of you guys asking about 37 millimeter flares. Okay, well, guess what? There's not as many 37s out there as used to be because everybody's buying them up. And there certainly are a lot of the 26.5s consumed already. But there is some, in fact, they have them over at right where I'm talking about here. They've got the golf ball launchers with blanks. And why do they have the... Oh, I see what they did. Forgive me. I kind of misconstrued where they were going with that one. There we go. They do have flares available. Check 26.5 Mike flares. Single star red. All boxes contain 10 rounds. Boxes are sealed and coated in light film of wax. Traditional if you guys have used enough of these. And so take a look at those if you wanted to go that way to at least add a few more. What you do is get one of the adapters for 37 to 26.5, and then buy a pile of the 26.5 flares to make up for a shortage on the 37s for the time being. You should have the adapters anyway. It is a very good idea, okay? Because there's a lot of those flares out and about. They're all over the place. They've already been dispersed by the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, just as a heads up, okay? So something to think about there. And let's see, next. Also, that's about it for UN Ammo. We're good. You can go look at the page, see if there's anything else worthwhile. Hey, 75.5 cents a round for 9mm. Oh, boy. That's more than the price of a No, that's the same price as a .223 round. Oh, boy. Yeah, oh, God. Anyway, stuff. There are some things. MagTech, by the way, was down the street from them, so whatever the hell's going on there, I really don't want to even concern myself with. Tell you what, we are a little past the bottom of the hour, but Edward, if you could, I'll tell you what, Far Cry, take your pick. We Will Rise Again, or My Rifle by My Side. Edward, if you could, one or the other, long play. Let's not do it like a minute long. There's a couple of shorties there that are just the actual like little blurps that go in the video game. But if you could, Rifle by My Side, or We Will Rise Again. And whenever you can set that up as we go here, I'll hear the intro, so I'll know to shut up. And by the way, also, you're listening to www.libertytreeradio.4mg.com. This is the Intelligence Report, and it is 5:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just as a benchmark. We'll be right back. We're going to take a little ear candy break.
darkness descends. Oh Lord, the great collapse won't be our end. When the world falls into the flames, we will rise again. We will rise again. Let the wars begin. We'll keep our pistols near. Our neighbors frail and thin, as they disappear. Let the chaos come. Let our houses freeze. The lights will all go out, but we'll finally see. Oh Lord, the great collapse won't be our end. When the world falls into the flames, we will rise again. We will rise again. When the sky has cleared and the storm has passed, we'll walk arm in arm down our promised path. We'll watch the sun come up.
Oh, a stray kitty cat brought all her babies home.
Its bed of black. We'll enter Eden's garden and never look back. Oh Lord, the great collapse won't be our end. When the world falls into the flames, we will rise again. We will rise again.
All right, sorry about that. I didn't mute there, and I know I probably made some noise in the background because I was looking at this whole legion of little black kittens somebody sent me a picture of that all came with mom to the back door. I'm stray. You need to feed me. Feed me now. Wow. Anyway, we've seen this before. We have a dust mop like this now. We have a lot of cats, but we have a couple that have walked in because, well, somebody probably thought they're going to make barn cats out of them, and they weren't barn cats before probably. So anyway, better taken care of. As it is Communications Tuesday, and for everybody out there, no question, Far Cry, that's one of two songs that are actually being flipped by the Patriot movement across the board, and everybody's got guns, and the bad guys are not chewing at the bit, and they're pulling their hair because you're not supposed to like that. I would point out something, and a couple of guys have actually stepped forward and mentioned this. Some of the most rabid, like anti-military, anti-establishment songs became like centerpieces for most all of your action shoot-'em-up movies and actually memorabilia for what was played in the field by the troops back when, they first started making FM micro stations over in Vietnam or using the VHF and UHF radio net to actually rebroadcast all kinds of things, guys, including music, by the way. And it wasn't just Good Morning Vietnam. There was a whole bunch of other stuff out there like that being done by the radio geeks. That's how we got FM back here in the U.S. That's how it actually developed. It started out as underground radio, okay? But what's interesting is that, well, yeah, we're going to make a statement about the war. And it's like, yeah, and a lot of them picked up on the music and turned it right around, and it became like almost battle hymn music for people in the field. Anybody? So now you got the video game scam, and they want to hate Christians, and they hate, of course, the Jewish mob can do no wrong. The Kabbalists, Satan-worshiping Jewish mob that want to murder you all. Oh, they're wonderful. But, the evil Christians are bad. So it's like what's happened here is they did this whole series of pieces, like different mixes, 2 different meters, different combinations, and they're perfect. They're great. Grab them, snag them, play them. In fact, that's why I gave Ed the option there real quick. The first one is We Will Rise Again. The second one, you know what, I'll tell you what we'll do, because this is our network, and Ed, if he could, he might even have it right there at his fingertips. My rifle by my side. Keep your rifle by your side. Let's play that one. And why? Well, the bad guys hate this. No, you're supposed to feel bad. You're supposed to, this angsting about. No, we're going to keep our rifle by our side. If you pay attention, there's a little comment in the We Will Rise Again about kind of keeping your pistols close at hand. Well, everybody's taking that to heart. In fact, the biggest thing, like I've said, looking at the ammunition, I've been kind of sculpting this on the air with the sine wave, because that's really what it is. What's available? What's not available? What's available? What's not available? Up and down, rise and fall. That's how you determine at this, with a window of activity, what you're going to use. Okay, just a little heads up. If you're coming to the table, you got to make work what's available. Okay? It's not, I want this. Well, you may want it, wish in one hand, defecate in the other, and see which one gets full first. Instead, again, pick what it is that might be on hand. One of the reasons I recommend grabbing an AR-15 upper, you don't have to buy the whole rifle as a 7.62 by 39. Maybe you'll find a better deal for a 5.56 rifle. Guess what? Don't buy a whole new rifle. Buy an upper in 7.62 by 39. Grab yourself some mags. Make sure you got a bolt with the proper bolt face, because you got to be able to handle the 7.62 by 39. But what did I just show you? 43 cents to 46 cents a round for 7.62 by 39, as opposed to 78 cents, $1, $1.10, $1.25 for 5.56. Well, guess which one I'd be buying right now? Only because, if nothing else, more bang for the buck. And you know what? I'm not going to spray and pray. You can't start by bursting with a magazine's worth of ammunition, dude. People, you've got to be thinking right now about mastering the trade, focusing on only using the firepower necessary to put the aggressor down so you can strip him bare-ass naked while he's still warm, take all their gear, and feed them to the catfish, okay? Remember, we're trying to feed, if there's any prisoners, we will be feeding them. They're going to get catfish, okay, and other stuff. But that's how it works. So at this moment, 7.62 by 39 makes sense. Now, AKs are as outrageously priced as ARs right now across the board, even for the lowest end ones. There are a few you can put together here and there. AKs are a little more work to put together. But ARs, oh, come on. It's the Lego block of rifle. It's one of the things that meets our needs. Because I'm not going to shoot 7.62 by 39 all the time. I'm going to keep that upper in a little sleeve on the side of my tack pack, and I could be carrying a 7.62 by 39 ultralight, and then I can turn right around, and I can build whatever else I want. I also mentioned 5.45 by 39. One of the reasons that I would bring that up is because there's tons of the 7 Series cartridge out there. I mean, guys, do you know how many pallets and pallets and pallets of 5.45 by 39 have been sold out there, and they weren't shot because they're in the ham tins? So you may end up at a point where, I'm out of 5.56. What do I do? Oh, here we go. We're going to take a break because I'm going to keep my rifle by my side.
Was made
And I will. You'll keep your rifle by your side. Also, signal communications, but again, limited. Make sure that you will understand the technologies you attach to your rifles. If it's got GPS, it's a threat, not a help. Keep that always in your mind. And don't forget that, there is no such thing as too many mags and too much ammo. That just doesn't exist, okay? Go ahead, Ed. What you got first?
Communications Tuesday. I'm going to remind people next week. Tuesday will be our last day for the week, and then for the holiday, we're going to be taking the week off after that date. Probably going to be maybe doing some traveling. It all depends on how things go here. I don't know how things are going on where you are, Dad, but they're talking about, lockdown, and if you travel, you may be pulled over and forced to quarantine for 14 days.
Right. Well, the witch here, Greta Burst-Jenner, middle of the day announced that, there's going to be no more face-to-face school. So the kids were all kicked out of school for drama, the drama queen effect in the middle of the day because of idiot stick. This is the kind of garbage that witch hazel and the rest of these pieces of excrement are going to be pulling until we finally end up getting rid of the problem. And we are going to have to do that. This is not going to get better. The commies are all speaking up. These characters have no interest in health. It has to do with manipulation and the good old George Orwell 1984. Well, this is America. We all know how we got to get rid of that problem.
Well, you know how you settle that real quick. And I honestly mean this. Good. Get them out of the public schools.
Oh, yeah, that was the only thing. Yeah, that's the thing I kept saying to everybody. So today, it's like, well, it's the public school system. So in reality, the more they do this, the farther the kids are away from the influence. And when they say that they're the lost generation, remember, they were only out of school for a month.
Yeah, the lost generation for this year, which hasn't had any school shootings miraculously, which hasn't had any reported, violence at all towards other students, basically, which is not being promoted by the psychobabble of the, counselor or psychiatrist is on board that's pumping them full of drugs. Instead, the parents are taking care of the kids, so they're not in that situation. What a surprise.
Now, I would never have expected... Yeah, we would. So anyway, big thing is don't let anybody stick anything up your nose, guys. The hell with that garbage. The other thing to remember is, get a gas mask and filters and find where they are and make sure you know where they are and keep them with you all the time. And if somebody opens their face, and I said, I did this with, I've done this a couple of times, but I use the Predator face hugger mask. But it's like, this is for one purpose only, government manipulation. And so I have the appropriate cover. And I didn't wear it because I have no interest in going any place where they do that. I intentionally did it in a couple places, and as I walk through, all I keep saying is, we're going to die, we're doomed. I'm serious. We're all going to die, we're doomed. The masks, they do nothing, we're doomed, they're going to die. Oh, they don't like that. Well, come on. Everybody walking around right now with a face mask on isn't doing anything for anybody, but in reality, they're nothing but a walking cesspool of germs. They're nothing but a cesspool of virus, pathogens, mold, mildew, and these pieces of excrement that are that fearful probably are dangerous for the rest of us, and they should stay home. Okay? That's it.
Hey, Mark.
Go ahead, caller. Jump in there, please.
Mike from Ohio. This was probably a concerted effort because our governor, our sleazy Republican governor, in the middle of the afternoon announced now a 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew where you'll be arrested and charged with a second-degree misdemeanor if you are out at that time. And also he amended his mask order to turn all the businesses against us. Now he's essentially given police powers to one of these agencies like Workman's Comp or some obscure agency, and they go around, and if you're caught in a business without wearing a mask, they're going to fine the business $10,000 and close them for 24 hours. So now all the businesses are rabidly, against their customers, and they'll call the cops on you if you try to go in without a mask.
Well, wait a minute. Let's back up. Let's back up on one right here real quick. Does the virus viciously attack after 10 o'clock at night?
I guess so.
Is the virus, in fact, wait a minute. The later let's think this one through, people. If you go out at 6 o'clock right? Are you more likely to run into more people? Aren't you? I mean, if you go to the store or you go into town, no matter where you go, there's more people that probably have free time that you're going to make contact with. But with every passing hour, and especially from 9 o'clock on in America for the last 5-6 years, I've been talking about this on the air, boys, the sidewalks roll up. I've been across this country, done the big neighborhood round because we had to go down to Mississippi, across to Texas, back up through Missouri, and then back here to Michigan. And I'm telling you, I drive in the evening. Why? Because there wasn't anybody, way before this corona beer virus scam. From 9 o'clock on, it's like the population died, okay? So why is it more dangerous for me to be out at 10 o'clock in Ohio? And what time in the morning? When is it very dangerous in the morning?
The other thing that's interesting, too, is he specifically stated in that order that if you're a grocery store, you can remain open in the middle of the night. Well, pretty much around here, we don't have any grocery stores that are open in the middle of the night anyway, so he's just trying to pick winners and losers, even though it's not going to really change anything. But it's...
Yeah, but what time in the morning does the curfew end?
5 a.m.
Oh, so between, okay. So apparently this isn't a Twilight Zone, or this is like from the movie It, in that the new second-gen virus is especially virulent in open areas between the hours of 10 o'clock at night and 5 o'clock in the morning. Why would you have a curfew for what possible legitimate excuse other than communist bitches, flexing their commie police state muscles, and any pig cop who pushes this needs to have his ass beat down?
I'll tell you what I think it is. I don't think it has anything to do with the coronavirus. I think they're anticipating a lot of pissed off people finally taking to the streets over the election, and this is they're preempting that.
Oh, I agree, but you see what the excuse used, because of course they'll have enough of the panty waist, queers of $3 bill pedos who will be going, yeah, you can't be out after 10. Wait a minute, are you going to be out after 10? Well, no, because it's dangerous out there. How's it dangerous? Well, because if they're doing the ban, then from 10 o'clock on, if I'm outside, these clouds of corona beer virus, they roll across the parking lots in the stores. They build up during the day. How does that happen? Well, all the people who drop their masks on the ground, the bacteria builds up, and at about 9 o'clock it rises from the dead. I've seen this in a movie, and it turns into a clown. And the clown lures you into the sewers, and then you die. I saw this. It must be real because it was on TV. It was. Do you see how stupid this sounds? Once again, like I said, with that line from Aliens with Ripley, did IQs just drop while I was away? Looking around the room. So anyway,
the amount of tyranny, Mark, the amount of tyranny that people accept is the amount of tyranny they're going to get.
Yeah, I think what needs to happen is, like what we've done a lot more recently here is when we were especially looking at combat is the guys, when they move around here, move in car columns, in SUV columns, truck columns, or armored truck columns. When we thought the Hillsdale thing was going to escalate, that's how everybody was moving. No minimum of 3 vehicles. Everybody pretty well, leave us alone. We don't bother you. If you want to write a ticket for something, go right ahead. Start to be stupid and ride up on someone, that'll be the beginning of the war. So you can go ahead and whatever you want, flap your yap. You can go ahead. Here's a driver's license for you. But you know what? Depending on how things start to develop, we'll just take that back from your warm, dead hands. See, that's one of these things where the whole country is on such edge. And we're not going to be doing the knee-jerk routine. We're not reacting. Everybody is discussed constantly. Well, actually, a conversation I had with one group today is, they're taking it to the next step right now because they do have the resources, is pre-deploying vehicles and equipment that, they're a totally separate mechanism from other militia units. But they do have, they're resource-rich in transportation. So they're actually pre-deploying what are improved vehicles even as we speak tonight. That's how much of an attitude everybody's got about this. I think everybody knows they're BSing all of us, guys. They're playing the rubes with this whole fake-ass garbage with the election. They're stretching the rubber band out. You've got more and more of these phallus heads that are flapping their yap about how we just need to move on. We just need to. I'd be willing to bet out of the Republicans, if you were smart and you could get the Epstein list, you want me to tell you how it is the Republicans are kept in tow by these communists? You want to guess? They're on the Epstein list. Think about it. How do you have these fools? Like I said before, there needs to be another party because there is no Republican Party. The Republican Party needs to be dumped on its ear. The Democrat Party is just the Communist Party. We need an American Party. Or we don't need any party so much as we need to have a hell of a shoot party, and then when we're done, we won't have to worry about this problem for a while. But it is going to take time. It's not going to be a short process. So we still need to have political structure to deal with minimal administration and support in wartime. Don't make any mistake that, we're just going to chug along in the anarchist crap. That's bullshit. That's going to last 15 minutes only because while you're busy running along in a fumbling fog, the other side is being decisive. And so at given points, you designate straw bosses. That's the difference between the Republic and the Empire, or the Confederation and the Empire. Okay, where Rome had the problem is when a Caesar grabbed dictatorial power, which of course is always going to be temporary. Hey, where have we heard that before in recent years? And then turns around and makes it kind of almost lifelong permanent, except that, if you're smart, you get rid of the critter beforehand, but unfortunately they usually had somebody else riding on their coattails, so another Caesar pops up behind them. Which means when you start it, you better finish it real quick, like right from the get-go. That's the problem we have right now with the situation we are in with this country as far as dealing with this, because they're trying to talk you into communist soup A or communist soup B. How about no communism at all, which is where we need to be. We have an American form of government. We're not using it. That's what we need to embrace. But to do it, you're going to have an American war for independence, and you're going to have to dump pretty much all these toasters, these robots, now in order for you to be free later.
No soup for you.
No soup for you. It's a soup Nazi. Yeah, well, it's a Jewish mobster who expects stuff for free that's saying that, Why aren't you giving me stuff for free? I can do special, the other goyim can't. Yeah, well, no, that's not how it works. So, yeah, no soup for you. That's what I am telling you right now. I will slap you side the head with my spoon. And it may be worse in a minute. Boris here has meat cleaver. He does better job. He will not slap you side the head. So, we are at the top. For everybody out there, guys, we're going to take a break here, top of the hour, and it is Communications Tuesday. Remember, when the time comes, Dollar Tree, have a dollar amount for batteries, and do a spread of batteries. Obviously, prioritizing the batteries that you need, AA, AAA, whatever, or 9-volt for many of your handhelds. But make sure that you do a potpourri because you're going to run into other equipment. Plus, you have stuff you probably forgot about. Ds, Cs, AA's, AAA's, 9-volt, 1, 2, 3 batteries. Also, cards of watch batteries. And I know a lot of you guys have been mentioning that the red, blue, greens, the batteries match up with 2 or 3 of the other lights out there, so you joined them. That way the same battery's on the equipment for everything. That's a good idea, but what you need to do also is take a little medicine bottle, get one of the smallest ones that are watertight, airtight. And what you want to do is get the little tiny plastic bags or a little coin bottle inside that, put your one battery in, and then put a piece of cardboard or a cardstock between each battery. You get the thin, cheap China Sport stuff for this, but cut a paper coin, put one in the bottom, then put the battery in, then put a paper coin in, then put the other one in. And again, this creates a standoff so that you don't have, contact, just in case the batteries are made crappy, because you never know. And that way you're not going to have any bleed or misappropriation of energy going from one unit to the next, and it can happen. But you also want to watertight, airtight. You're going into the field. See what it's like outside right now? Well, it's going to get worse. So with that being the case, think ahead. Ziploc bags are your friends. Make sure that if you can, save up those little medical bottles, peel the labels off. Make sure you can see inside. That way you know what's in. In fact, if you put a label on a container, you know where you do it when it's clear? On the inside. You don't tape it on the outside. If you have a clear container, slip the label on the inside. You don't have to even glue it to anything that way. Just slide it in and put it on two different sides and explain what it is that's inside the container with even a container count. That way, when you look at something, it's like there's no doubt. I always put it on 3 surfaces, so you might want to tape something to the lid. You can do that. But yeah, again, everything needs to be sealed from the environment so that it's, moisture doesn't get to anything, because moisture kills everything. H2O is not your friend. It's that simple. We should be going to break. We are at 4 minutes after. And for everybody out there, you are listening to Libertytreeradio.4mg.com. God bless the Republic.
Death to the New World Order.
We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The empire is on the run.
And we're on the march both day and night.
Hoorah. Kick 'em the slats, beat 'em down hard when you get a chance. Well, reorganize. Strip the enemy dead while they're warm. It's a lot easier to move arms. You don't have to pry guns from hands or try to, with difficulty get, equipment off. Same with their uniforms and other junk. Don't worry about whether or not it's bloody. That's what washing machines are for. Then we can patch the holes, use it to get closer to your enemy, and deal with the rest. Hunt them harder than they're hunting you. We'll be back.
You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area, because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
Speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second hour of the afternoon intelligence report. I'm Mark Kornke. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, southwest, east, northeast, and west. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio, on YouTube via live stream, and we are on AM and FM micro stations, AM and FM conventional stations, CB base stations, and Ultranet, Hallmark, and Golden Spike technologies, east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, along with CONUS, the outlying two states, territories, and the clock. It is 6:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Communications Tuesday. It is the 17th of November. It is the 12th year of open Fabian Socialist and Soviet Socialist occupation of America with a K. 2020 Old Earth calendar. I'm giving it all she's got, Captain. And 2020 Battle for the Republic, Dance of Swords, the battle begins. We're already at war. It's just a matter of where the match is going to hit the gasoline. So if you're caught flat-footed, it's not my problem. If you're paying attention, you get motivated, you're going to do just fine. Still going to end up having to fight. If you want to be free, I'm going to tell you right now, you will not be delivered to your freedom on a feather bed. You would have to be an idiot, an incompetent, or a fool to believe that. Anyway, real quick here, with regard to batteries, there was a question. As soon as I said, Dollar Tree batteries, well, they're cheap. Yes, I know they're cheap, and you get more for less. We've done running tests with all of the handheld Baofengs, RCAs, General Electric handhelds, Midlands, Motorola's, and they run almost to the same spec, not quite as much, but they run pretty much to the same level for the same duration as the more expensive batteries. So, for $1 for 8, or in fact right now they have 8 packs, holiday packs usually show up now over at Dollar Tree, where you get 8 AA batteries instead of 6. Sometimes they're up by the cash registers. Dollar Trees are a little different in different places. They're all supposed to be basically formatted the same. You go into one Dollar Tree, you pretty well have gone to them all. It's just a matter of how big they are. On the end caps where they have the batteries, if you look, they're typically lower. They're not right at eyeball level. The 6-packs and the more pretty or unique batteries are right at eyeball because they're making more money on those for what they are. And again, some are recognized brands where they have a few of those, but mostly it's the no-name brand that you're very familiar with regard to Dollar Tree. They do have some blue and yellow covers that are different from the red and white covers. So the blue and yellow covers must be better than the white and red. No, they're not. Okay.
Those are generally Sunbeam.
yeah, they're Sunbeam. They're actually, what it is they were taken over China years ago. We've talked about these. They work, okay? So if I had a bunch of money and I needed batteries, I'm going for those right away. And then saving money there for my utility batteries, I might have some AA's or AAA's I'd spend a little more money on, only because the unit might take more energy, and that therefore the battery won't live any longer than the cheaper one, really. But I'd prioritize those deeper, more powerful or more reliable batteries for specific communications or specific lighting or illumination, like one of the night vision devices right here at my elbow. It takes AA batteries. Not all of them do that, but this one has a variable geometry carrier. It's one of those night vision units that were digital I got for free. Somebody got rid of it. And it's like, well, this is cute, more money than brains. But what's interesting is it can take AA or AAA batteries. It's got a spring battery case. Now, are the smaller batteries going to last as long? Nope, not at all. Nope. But you know what? They would run, and if I have them, I could use them. So that's not a bad solution, okay? Now, if I have better batteries, it's going to run a little stronger, a little longer. The drop-off is still, it seems to be just about the same. The big thing is, when you're spending money on a better battery, you're probably going to get maybe 2-3 more hours of life, which is a good thing. The big thing is that your drop-off, consistency in battery output, is pretty well up to the end in the last half hour, and then you get intermittent hiccups, and then the battery's beyond power usage. So that's the difference. Whereas with the Sunbeams and the Sylvanias and the batteries, with any of those, catch as catch can. But most are consistent if they're from Dollar Tree, so you know what you're going to get there. I know they're cheap. We know that, but you're going to need quantity. And you're not getting any more real soon until you pick them off your enemy's warm corpse. And you'll all be fighting over the same goodies. So you better have more now for fighting now for what it is that needs to be done now, okay? Another thing, again, I cannot emphasize enough for communications. Little solar panels, the little roll-up ones are nice, but also the little crank chargers, the combination radios are really good that are AM, FM, shortwave. They usually have a power supply plug. They have an onboard chargeable battery pack. There are several that are actually quite girthy. I was surprised in that usually, again, that means there's a little more technology on board. Some are pretty cheap. The free play radios are bulky, but they're not heavy because most of it is rubber baby buggy bumper plastic around the outside, so you've got standoff so the radio can't get damaged. Some of these other units, like the one I got that's a Motorola, is about the size of, I don't know, maybe like a half of a cigar box. And it's very dense. That's because if you open it up, it's a lot of microcircuitry. It's got a much better onboard radio. The battery charging unit with capacitors that are on board. Part of it's a capacitor storage system. Part of it is a ion battery system. They have a little solar panel. They have a crank for power. They also have plugs and connectors for, cell phone, which I could give a shit less about. But that same connector is used for a lot of other junk. So guess what? I might not use it for the stupid cell phone I'll never turn on and I'll probably crush with a hammer. But I might use it for all of the other pieces of equipment where I have rechargeable batteries. So it's nice to have that umbilicus there, okay? Another thing most of these do also have wall work plugs, so you can, if you have juice off the wall, you don't have to, burn up the other technology or, grind them yourself. You can just plug it in and let the battery, the wall do the work. That's good for as long as that lasts. And, of course, you may also hook it up to another generator pack. We've got all kinds of different generators. I've got one I have not been able to get started. It's one I've had for quite some time, and the worst part is I've got 3 more of them, and so I'm going to have to look at the other 2 models I have that do work to figure out what's wrong with the third one that's causing a problem, and the fourth one, which is, okay, iffy, but works. When you do this and you're going through your technology, the same is true with regard to all the smaller stuff. If you can get as much comparable, so interchangeable for 100% of everything, that's a good thing. That's why, like I said, some of the guys that bought the red, blue, green Axion sites have lined up the lighting systems that they have because they've got different generations of lights. They picked out the ones that use the same batteries as the red, blue, green, so that when you put the batteries up in the pistol grip storage point or in the buttstock, depending on which rifle it is and how you've got it set up, you have everything right there nonstop ready to go. Or you put them on your combat rig too, which, by the way, once we get to kickoff, if you haven't already done this because you want to keep your stuff stored and dry, you don't want it beat up, once we do accelerate, you want batteries in your backpack, you want batteries in your combat rig, and you want to store some of the batteries you need for your special tech on your weapon if you can. There's a number of different reasons, but mostly it's just the idea that more is better because you're not going back to the store. You're not going to the grocery store. Everybody went to the grocery store. Everybody went to the Dollar Tree. They even pulled the tile. Remember what happened with the places when people went really crazy here a few years ago? They even pulled the stinking floor tile up and were carrying it away. Why? It's like you have these zombies and they get into steal stuff mode, and there was nothing left to steal on the shelves. There was nothing left to steal on the anything up by the cash registers, so they're grabbing fixtures from inside, stuff that could be detached. And in one instance, as I reported here about 4 or 5 years ago, they peeled floor tile up. And they carried it away. It wasn't like, it just peeled up for some reason and flew off the floor. This is how weird people get when again, drugs are a horrible thing, and government provides a lot of them, okay? And the Prozac prodigies, you don't know what you're going to get with those Fruit Loops. Those nutcases are so far around the corner. That's what half of these mask wearers are, as far as the dog muzzle wearers. They're already on some high government dope, and so you can't relate or talk to them. They're nimrods. They're idiots. They're nincompoops. Dumb as a box of rocks, and they're going to stay that way, and you don't want to convert them, and you don't want them near you. More on that in a minute with Thanksgiving. We'll talk about that. But another thing here real quick with regard to Dollar Tree. A lot of other cool stuff they have there, but people are taking advantage of it. And I've noticed that all of the more unique pieces of equipment that are over in the electronic section, like in the ones that we have here locally, are gone. A couple of them. One of them right now, right behind me, there is a little flashlight. No, it's not really well made. It's cheapest they could make it, but it is a handheld, it fits in your palm perfectly. And I mean, it is actually a good, perfectly designed model in terms of shape. It has about a 1.5-inch primary lens with an ultra-bright LED at one end. It has 4 ultra-bright LEDs on the side handle. If you push down, you get, I'm blind with the one light. If you push the other way, oh God, I'm quadruple blind from the other direction. It has a stupid little hanger, which I totally ignore and probably should just cut off, but I leave it there because every once in a while, if it were to slip, I might just be able to get that when I can't get the rest of the light. The back comes off too easily, but it stays on most of the time. If you drop it, it probably is going to come off. You better be looking for it. It takes one battery. This is what's really great about these things. One AA battery. That's it. So for one AA battery, you've got, in other words, you buy one of those 8-packs, so you figure it out, you're spending 13, 14 cents a piece for the battery. You've got this light for $1, and you can have a dozen of these laying around, and they make great camp lights for inside the tent. They could go down in the tunnel or in the cave and be left behind because you don't care for $1 a piece. And a handful of batteries with them, put them inside a plastic container that's sealed so they're airtight, the moisture doesn't get to them, and you've got yourself a useful tool here. Well, guess what? Everybody's buying. Those are gone. About 2-3 days ago, there was maybe 100 of them there. In the last 2 days, everybody saw them. They're gone. Why? Because they are a neat little supplement to the ones that are better made. These are plastic. They are cheap. When something breaks on them, and if it breaks to the point where I can't use it, I don't throw the thing away. Yeah, that's stupid. You've got the LEDs on board still. You've got a battery holder. And typically, even if you lose parts, the thing still works. So you can't take and run it around with the moisture outside as easily, but you've got spare parts for what's left, or you've got something to improvise with, or at least use for indoor lighting and, run it till the battery dies. Either way, that's a cheap solution. So for those of you who are poor, this would be a good thing to have multiples of. Another thing, there are a bunch of power cords that nowadays will plug into your dash because you have all kinds of fixtures for the standard computer jacks that are out there. They have an illuminated line that's LED illuminated that provides a goodly amount of light on board. Now, I don't want that if I'm really super tactical, but what's cool is it's in green. And all those are gone. All the illuminated ones, everybody picked in and grabbed them. And I think for the same reason, because they're a fuel sipper, in other words, an energy sipper, if they're on board a vehicle. They produce enough light to be able to see, and they're good enough to be a night light by themselves, even though it's actually a power cord or charging cord, okay? So that's another thing. If you got, I highly recommend putting a couple in each vehicle. That's what I did. There's 2 of those, a bunch of the little cigarette lighter plugs, make little utility kits, a couple of these flashlights. That way, just one person has the flashlight in the horror movie. Remember how that always works out? Here, guys, I got the flashlight. I'm in charge. Follow me. Oh my God. He got him in the head with the axe. Quick, guys, I've got the flashlight, and I've got his axe. Grab him. He's disarmed. Plop. See how that works? Flashlight, axe. So, anyway, the idea here is everybody gets a flashlight, so everybody gets the opportunity to get chopped by the guy with the axe in the horror movie. Or everybody can actually help, pitch in, see, do whatever. And you might want to divide up or move, equipment and spread it out, even when you're in the field in an emergency situation. So it'd be kind of nice to have more than one. Anyway, Dollar Tree is your friend. Another thing, plasticize everything, Ziploc bag everything, do it now as you bring the stuff in. I've got a nice source for industrial Ziploc bags, and it's a regular feed. So everything, I just got several cases. We went to a yard sale this weekend. We got cases of, for instance, boxes and cases of Curad, elastic pre-cut gauze, okay? Tube gauze, in this case. We got tube gauze and we got roll gauze. Well, the box, I've got these really nice Ziploc bags, and they are big enough to handle the whole box. So am I just going to shove the box into the container? No, I'm going to put it inside, which I already did. I've got my hand on it right now. I've already got in the big Ziploc bag. Now that's going into the barrel, and I've got really good environmental protection for this equipment, so it's going to be that much fresher and cleaner and not wet when it's in the field. See how that works? Proper planning prevents piss-poor performance, and a lot of people love piss-poor performance because they don't want to use their head. That happens all the time. And again, it takes so little to actually accomplish. Dollar Tree, again, is a great place to find those cheapy Ziploc bags over in the Ziploc bag aisle. Buy the cheapest, okay, just to get something in on the gear. Don't forget you want those Ziploc bags, or you want to use seal-a-meal systems for your socks, your replacement gloves, even your underpants and your T-shirts if you're going to put them in your backpack. Why not? You're not going to take them in and out. You're not going to use them. In fact, you don't need to worry about that, because if you seal a meal or Ziploc bag your gear, it's going to be clean, it's going to be dry, you can leave it in your backpack. I've said this a million times. If you're putting stuff in your car, don't put tactical stuff in your car that another family member thinks they need to wear. You take the stuff that is serviceable enough but not pretty, or that doesn't look cool. That's the stuff you want to leave for emergency gear in the car whenever possible. It'll stay there. Seriously. Learned this a long time ago. So, not that I plan to do it, Nancy, but somebody else, you never know, or, the kids, whoever, this way, everything stays where we're supposed to, because we have multiples, and I have a lot of different fleet vehicles. That's how they're all set up the same way. And spares are spares. The other thing about the not so pretty, if I have a car wreck, like we had a couple of them here we've run into, I don't stick around. I told you before, stop, help the people, leave. Especially when somebody else jumps up, oh, I'm a paramedic. Oh, fantastic, goodbye. They don't even say goodbye. Act like you're coming back, go back to your vehicle and leave. But whatever you leave, make sure it's the stuff you don't care about. Still helping the people, but you're not out anything. That's why I always grab the stuff that at these estate sales, it's free, like the extra weird-looking blankets and, or other wraps and, maybe even like hoodies. Okay, well, we want that for. Well, I want that so that when I keep it in the emergency pack here, it's kind of like the crash kit we keep by the front door. We haven't had accidents like we used to, and now I'm not so sure I wouldn't just kick them to the road, but especially if they would be the Biden types. But used to be we'd have 3 lethal wrecks a weekend on the stretch here where we are. And they would come up to the front porch, and they would be bleeding, and usually I need to use the phone while they got a gack in their head, their throat slit open, they got busted arm, and they're trying to still walk, and one of their ankles is hanging sideways, like they're walking on the ball of their ankle. You got to get them to sit down on the front porch, and then I'd have a crash bag right there with blankets, wraparounds, thermal blankets, the emergency Mylar. You just sit right here. Don't you move. Don't worry. We'll call your wife. Don't worry. Someone's going to get hold of her, but you just wait right here. We think you need probably some other support. And then the ambulance can take care of the rest, okay? And there's probably still somebody out in the car worse than the guy that came to the front porch to use the phone. It happens, okay? So I don't want to send my best with that person. I don't want to send my really nice wool blankets I can't replace anymore. I'm going to use the newer China Sport wool blankets or the wraps or the fuzzy blankets that I get from the, toss-outs. They're clean. They're washed up. That's what goes in the crash kits for others. Okay, that's how it works. Why? Because I got my own to take care of. Okay, it's that simple. We'll help you out as best we can, but it's like if you show up at the door and you said you needed food. You're going to go, I'll feed some people. I'll judge you to a degree. If I think you look like you're a purple-haired Bidenite, nah, why don't you kick rocks and go to that commie over down the road there. I'm sure he was all prepared for this, too. Not. But a handful of oatmeal, a can of sardines in Ciroc and mustard sauce, and 2 packs of ketchup. Congratulations, you got something to eat. Go for it. Yeah, well, at least, hey, the guy across the street, he'd push you back out the door and tell you that you're not communist enough. Okay? I might help you. Might. Probably not anymore. Got too many other things to worry about, and we're at war now. So the world has changed. Now, another thing here real quick with regard to medical is anything and everything you can grab right now, remember, it will be used. The tubular gauze, what's that good for? Well, finger and, toe injuries. Some of it's so elasticized it will even go around your wrist. What's it good for? If you're doing a wrap, okay, here's one of the trick with the wrap gauze is you use the wrap gauze, then you take the tube gauze and use that as a base liner just to hold everything in place casually, especially if you're going to be working on it or changing out that dressing or you've got something that needs to be re-administered on a regular basis. You will be able to use that outer wrap more than once, that outer elasticized wrap. So again, you got to make sure everything stays as clean as possible. This is another thing that people are going to have to get religious about with casualty production, is you're going to have to try to make these people understand that, yeah, you might want to get up and move around, but no, you're not. And no, I don't need you out there getting messed up again because I can't afford to redo what I've done to fix you, okay? It's different if it's a fighting situation and every swinging dink is going to have to be out there ready to fight with one hand, okay? Hey, if you got a pistol, put a bullet on their hind end. You can do that with the other hand in trouble. Don't worry, we'll have a third person. One guy that has one hand will help the other 2 guys that have one hand. That way they can reload their, the pistol mags. It's like 2 hands, but 3 people, 3 hands for 3 people. You can get it done. The one guy can help either one whenever they need another mag. How do you like that? See, teamwork. But otherwise, the big thing here again is everybody needs to understand limited resources from the beginning. All of the wastefulness and idiocy that we have seen for so long, if those who figure out that that's gone forever, win. All of you people who understand all of the goodies and all the gunky and the pileup that you've had is gone forever. It's going right now. It's ending. Okay? Government, if nothing else, wants to be communist like Canada. You're not allowed to have it. You won't be allowed to have it. They'll throw it away. They'll shred it. They'll do just like what happened at the beginning of this corona beer virus scam. We have whole storerooms full of PPE, personal protective equipment, they sent to the dump. Brand new. We don't have enough equipment. That was. You know what that's the call? We don't have enough government tip money to suck yet. Send us more government tip money. Meanwhile, supposedly what they didn't have, they threw out the back door. And all these institutions, hospitals, they all did the same damn thing. They're curs. They're wretched pieces of filth. I have no use for them. They're not going to help you. They're not helping you now. Look what the government's doing with this scam with the corona beer virus BS. Just police state communist garbage. That's all it is. Okay? If we're going to fix it, we got to fix it ourselves. And that means you all need to pitch in to make that happen. Okay? All of you. You're going to have to start thinking differently. If you got a family member that's ill, if they pass away, you recover all the medical gear, anything and everything that hasn't been used, even stuff that it has been used. Example, if you have an oxygen maker that somebody bought, you don't give that to an institution. You don't donate that to anybody. You pull that back and that goes to the militia. That goes to a medical unit. You have it in reserve for our own needs. That does not go, get resold or donated to something. BS. That's not going to do anybody any good. You want to help somebody else who needs help because the government won't give them help? Then guess what? We have an oxygen machine. How do you like that? Because that's the scam they're going to play. So piss on the regime, piss on the government, and piss on the turds, especially in the health services operations that are doing nothing but sitting on their dead stinking ass, which I'm really tired of. So we've got to take care of ourselves. Whole new institutions are going to have to be made, and they are not going to be interlocked with the communists that are now stopping care and aid. because that's what they're really doing. So piss on them. They're over there. We're over here. Come across the line, get your ass shot. Try to fiddle fart with us, get your ass shot. That's how everybody been retreating these communist POSs, or you will lose. Because they're just going to keep doing the amoeba blob thing with regard to stealing rights, stealing, everything will become a special privilege. And you're not special, you don't get no privilege. It's just how it's going to work. Now, another thing real quick on communications, I know people have asked about what to buy. Guys, go over to Facebook Marketplace and look to see what's in the system. The China Sport companies, the Baofiangs are still out there. The Taoti Wang Bang, there's a dozen different off-brand, sounds like a silverware drawer hitting the ground, of Chinese company radios that are out there. It's basically the same core system. It's kind of like with the Duckbox CB radios. There's only 2 or 3 designs, and one company bought one or the other or the other. When you work on the inside, you see it real quick. When you look at the outside is a plastic cover made in communist China that fakes you out to make you believe you got a different product. Okay? Just that simple. A good chunk of the Motorola's are made in China. A good chunk of the, all the Midlands right now, for the most part. Maybe some are made in Taiwan, but I doubt it. Anyway, the whole point here is that whatever you commit to, just make sure that you grab what you need to at least get the basics. You got to have at least 2 radios. It'd be nice to talk to your other guy, another friendly voice. But the big thing here is also try to link up or mate up with the other systems for your personal handheld radios with other people's tech. So find out what your allies are working with, and don't be restricted to just one radio system, by the way. As I said before, you want a CB radio, separate. You want 2-meter, separate. You want marine radio, separate. You want each one of those as a separate radio rig. You do not want all your eggs in one basket. If one transceiver does everything, all it takes is one break in the link of the system, and you have no radio communications. Boom! Right there, done. You're finished. You're out of there. Now, does that mean we chuck all of the multi-band radios we have? Hell no. We got stuff that costs $3,000, $4,000, or stuff that people have purchased over the years that does everything, some bigger, some smaller. But we specialize where those are put, and usually, again, it's where you want it kind of quiet, out of sight, out of mind, especially for your observation units. So smaller and tighter, but the ability to switch out and monitor other frequencies. We don't necessarily use those radios for broadcasting so much as for listening to what's going on in your area. Example, monitoring FRS to see what traffic's there, but then switching over to VHF, UHF, whatever, and then dropping back down into 2-meter again, depending upon where you are, and listening and paying attention to what's going on there. It's a mix. In fact, you can go all the way up into shortwave with many of these radios, full band, broadband capability in terms of up and down the spectrum. It's not narrow and fixed to a particular, part of the radio spectrum. Again, batteries. Most of your big stuff is 12-volt. Yes, you can get backup 12-volt systems. I got 2 battery packs this weekend for 25 cents that are AA 12-volt battery packs. I already had a couple of them, and these probably, I don't even know the manufacturer yet. They're a plug-in add-on, and they even have a little shoulder strap. They will work with most of the standard fixtures, but one of them came with a whole pile of adapters that are the male-female plug types, where you plug the basic plug that's attached to the male into a female that then has one option, and then you have 6 or 7 other options in the little kit. I paid $0.25 for those. They're priceless. I could build them. I really could. I mean, you can make a copy of it without any problem. You just take an old junk radio, cut out the heart, the battery case, and I could build one. But it takes time, and I just went and got for 25 cents something that would take me a day, probably, or at least part of a day, to build. And somebody else already figured all the widgets out, so I don't have to do anything other than pay the 25 cents, 2 bits. And I've got myself a nice piece of equipment that I now attach to one of my other vehicle radios, and I can plug this thing into the side. Now, it's not going to run forever, but the neat thing is, since it's AA batteries, guess what? I got the pile of AA batteries from Dollar Tree when the war starts. Oh, that's right. or my rechargeables, or fill in the blank, whatever I'm going to do. We got to be thinking solutions nonstop, and if you see something, especially if it's unique like that, grab it. You can always adapt it later. But if you see it, and especially at estate sales, resale shops, watch for stuff like that. And don't forget what I mentioned a minute ago. Remember, some of the stuff you're looking at, man, it's got a really good battery pack, and it has its own cover for the battery pack area. It's a small radio and crappy, but guess what? When the time comes, you can make that a battery holder for a power supply, for something you want to make more mobile than just being hooked up to a vehicle, or more mobile in terms of, options in the event something happens and the batteries that I need for the radio aren't available. I can adapt this other junk to make it work. Okay? Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So, other stuff. The Thanksgiving thing, I got to address this again. If a bunch of punks show up on a Thanksgiving, first of all, those punk trash cop pieces of filth are getting paid overtime on a holiday. And they're laughing because they're sucking in the money while they're coming around as a bunch of dirty turd pieces of satanic trash to ruin your holiday. I say we ruin them. That's as good a reason for us to start the next war as anything. If some punks show up thinking they're going to tell you all about the holiday and what they're going to do, everybody bring two things. Bring guns and bring shovels to the get-together. Does everybody understand that? Here's for Thanksgiving what you need. Bring your favorite meal item, whatever you're going to bring. Bring your favorite vast quantity mass-shooting pellet spitter, and bring a better quality utility shovel for digging a hole and putting their sorry arse in it. How does that sound? Because that's what needs to happen. Everybody tired. In fact, by the way, remember all that Blue Lives Matter, man? Who are they sending out, guys? Who are all these pig governors sending out? Why, they're sending out the the cops. They're sending out the cops, aren't they? And the cops are having no problem profiteering / puffing up on America and spitting on Christian America especially. That's because most of the cops are stinking Satan worshipers to begin with. I didn't say all of them, but a big chunk of them are nothing right now but stinking, shaitan / Cthulhu / Satan worshipers. And their spirits are in the gutter. Anybody stupid enough to follow that order deserves a bullet. No, we don't. And you'll notice they're going to go out of their way on a holiday to piss with you. Why should you show any kindness to a jackass who does that? I want someone to explain that. Come in, jump in on the air. Oh, no, Blue Lives Matter. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. They know better, and they're going to do it anyway. Well, they're going to stop people on the way. You know what? Think about the Peckerwood Lodge buddy, because that's what this crap is. You got these stinking lodge buddies that are being told by their little yarmulke-wearing kosher mafia pieces of trash that are their Grand Lodge buddies that they got to go piss in America's face because they got to do the barking dog like they do, like the Israelis do when they piss on the Palestinian Christians. And now they're going to do it, they think, to America. Well, you know what? You try and pull that out, and you watch how we take it off and stuff it up your hind end or down your throat. Oh, that sounds like an attitude. Yeah, a real attitude, because I'm an American. I'm tired of this garbage. We're finished. You know what? They didn't stop the Halloween thing. Do you notice they didn't go all crazy for the witches' holiday, did they, guys? Oh, we can't have a bunch of people together for Halloween. As soon as they got their witches occult holiday through, all of the Christian celebration kind of things, it doesn't make any difference when Jesus was born, really. They just threw a dart and decided they're going to celebrate towards the end of the season. We know all the history of that. Congratulations. Why do you think all these Cthulhu, these Jewish types are pushing all of this garbage? because it's symbolism to attack you idiot Christians that are stupid enough to bend the knee and grovel on your belly to the stinking police state. Bark, bark, bark. Bark, 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 bark. Barking dog. Because they're going to be the barking dog Satanists that are going to tell you how they're going to have power. Bark, bark, bark. Boom, boom, boom. And you know what? All the rest of the stinking trash commies love this garbage. You notice that? Now, that's what I wanted to address, too. Well, you know, I loved NPR and all the rest of these idiot sticks today and all ABC, NBC. Oh, if you're coming from the school, from college, everybody's at risk. Well, then tell the commie brats that are at college to piss off and stay where they are. Everybody should do this. Are you, like, supporting Antifa and Black Lives Matter? Yeah, Dad, I support Black... Then stay there because you're putting us at risk. What? Well, no, I wanted to come home, free food, and you know what? No, I know that's what you're thinking. You're going to suck off me. Two things. If you come home, you would put us all at risk. And I don't need your little commie ass at home, so why don't you stay there in the dorm room and suck vapors? Oh, people have a... You see, if they're going to come home and froth at the mouth and tell you all about how you're bourgeoisie this and terrible that, understand that they're just a postulating pile of ooze that is going to cross-contaminate our population centers. And so all these little bewit pieces of trash that are at college right now need to keep their sorry arse there. After all, they're worshiping the networks and the commie government. Let the commie government take care of them. And don't send a dime to them for the weekend either, or for the week. How's that sound? In fact, you know, it's kind of that tough love thing, only it's like I don't have any love for any of these turds anyway, because these are the idiot sticks that will kill their own parents when the time comes.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mark, they're the first ones to drop a dime on you when the time comes that they can get $50 for turning somebody in.
Yeah, so piss on them and kick their ass on down the road. Seriously. No, you don't come home. Well, do you believe that this coronavirus is doing? Yeah, they told us all about it. Oh, it's a risk. Well, then there's no sense in you risking all of us. You need to stay where you are. You need to stay in the dorm. After all, we paid for it anyway. And the government's going to keep it open because you're going to be quarantining yourself, self-quarantining, right? Because you love us all here. So we don't need you around for the holiday. Why don't you stay there? No. You just hate us all anyway. Or were you just hoping to come home so you could tell us all about how we're bourgeoisie capitalists and it's horrible why you stuff your face with our turkey that we earned as a bourgeoisie capitalist? Because I love that garbage. I've seen it before. You're all really evil. Give me more of that bucket of turkey there. Seriously. That's exactly the kind of idiot sticks and Nimrod. So you've got an excuse to keep them away from you. And another thing, here's the other, what do you think they're doing with this? Let me ask y'all, answer me. What do you think is supposed to be the effect of limiting how many people can get together for Thanksgiving? What do you think their real motive behind that is? Seriously.
To prevent people from discussing the crap that's going on and making plans to do away with them.
Absolutely, but here's another thing. Doesn't this create another division? Dar, you know, I love you like, you know, you are a brother, Dar, but, you know, I got 5 brothers and 2 sisters. And Dar, I don't like you so much, and I can only have 5 people over. So, you know, I got the wife here already, and I don't like you. So would you stay away? Because I don't want you to spread your postulating wickedness near me, even though you're not sick and you'll never have the disease, whatever it is. But only 5 people can come over, so the ones that I'm going to pick are going to be my specialist ones. But all the rest of you are dog peasants I can wipe my feet on. Anybody think about that one?
Oh, I am now.
It's okay, Dora. You can come over to my place.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can come on over because, hey, everybody here, there's 2 things we got. We got shovels stuck in the ground out by the driveway, and everybody's carrying a gun. So I don't care who the dumb punk is that shows up. hopefully he gets the message. Well, you kind of look at by the end of the driveway, and there's all these shovels stuck in the ground. And there's one guy standing by the end of the driveway with a cup of coffee and a rifle slung over his shoulder. When they show
two
up,
other guns
you
that you
point
don't
towards
see.
the shovels and go, "Hi, guys. You come to ruin Thanksgiving? Well, we have authority." Yeah, hold on. You see those shovels? We brought those for you. And I'm just out here to talk to you. Everybody else, they ain't going to talk to you. And they're looking at you right now. Hold on. Let me enjoy this coffee here. Oh, no, you're not getting back in the car. Oh, no. We didn't say you could leave. Once you came out, you're not going back. Let nothing but a rumor of their destruction return to where they came from. Let nothing but a rumor of their destruction return to where they came from. I'm finished with these fools. Everybody better start. This better be sinking in. And I don't care about the other side. I mean, for all of you out there, how is this going to end? In fact, we've got a holiday, quote-unquote, a holiday season here, and they have done everything they can to piss up this holiday season, haven't they, people?
It will end badly, but worse for them.
Worse, well, absolutely worse for them. In fact, we got nothing but up for us, because you know what? They have totally destroyed, and that's not an accident, but they have destroyed the spirit of the season. It's gone. It's destroyed. And everything is this anal retentive. If you listen to all the channels, even telling you about how you need, what Christmas decorations you should be allowed to have, and why you need oversized ones so they can be sterilized. Guys, they're serious about this crap. Have you listened to some of the drivel they've got going on out there, feeding on themselves and their neurotic hypochondria? I am dead cold serious about it. I'm not joking about that one. I listened to some of this stuff today, and it's like, these people need to be gone from our presence. They need to be gone. You cannot live. If I had we really need to pick a dot on the map or community areas and move your people in, and no masks, all but well-equipped and well-disciplined and understand how to use real protection, and have all your weapon systems, everybody squared away, you do business. And if anybody shows up and wants a mask, they go off to the side into what we call the neurotic window. Because I won't even let I would do just the reverse. I would let nobody into my business that wanted to wear a mask. I'd tell them I'd help you, and I'd do just like we used to do in stores years ago, which they were doing and are still doing with a bunch of these big box chain stores. You can be the paranoid and order the stuff, and they pick it for you and bring it out to the steps. Except imagine if you were to be smart and make a small town and go together, everybody, and you just decide, we're not going to wear anything, we're not going to do any of their garbage. But if somebody wants to, those are pus pockets we don't want amongst us. So we're not going to deny or not take your money. But you go over to this window and you stand there and tell us what you want. Well, but I want to shop. No, you don't. You want to come in and put airs on while you try to act like you're superior to everybody else by wearing a face bra. And I don't want to have anything to do with you, neither do my real customers. You're not a real customer. You're some paranoid who decided to slink out, and if you don't see anybody else playing paranoid / wearing the face bra like everybody else, you get bug-eyed and start frothing at the mouth and demand that everybody else do what you do. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have an experiment. We're going to have a happy society over here without the face bras and without the dog muzzles and without you. And you and the rest of your fellow neurotics are going to be over there. Now, I don't have a problem with you being a neurotic hypochondriac with paranoid tendencies, but I don't want you around me. You see, that's the part. That's why the whole thing, like, they're bringing this into your home. You got to pick the 5 chosen that are going to come to your dinner, but the rest are all peons that you're going to wipe your boots on. So you get to play favorites, which, by the way, who are your favorites going to be? Now, how do you think this is going to affect the ones that, well, I like you a lot, but you can't come over because I'm so paranoid that, if there was one more person here, we'd all explode in pus pockets of of Corona beer virus. Do you see how stupid this is? But do you see how wicked this is? When you see minds working in this wicked way, the only thing that's going to fix them is put a bullet in their head with regard to the ones perpetrating this. And we are the majority, and what we need to do is go get rid of them. That is our problem right now. We are at the point where this is that, that attack, forgive me, that diversion you're trying to ignore is the attack you've been expecting. This is communism 101. And the only thing that will be good is when they are dead and gone, we will have a happy life again. But they are going to have to be dead and gone. Every one of these turds through the whole of the mechanism that is pulling this garbage for the lodge, for the synagogue, for the Satan worshiper clique, because that's what it is, all of those filthy turds need to be from our presence. And they just don't need to be around anymore. That's been our mistake for too long. And look at what they're doing. And every minute they're trying to figure out how to froth at the mouth more and demand more crazy BS. I don't mind that they kick the kids out of the school because now the kids are farther away from the Fruit Loop teachers. And if the parents are smart, they better be talking in the kids' ears nonstop. And the children better be pulled away. You don't go to any of their TV garbage. You don't go to any of it. Oh, no, they're all homeschooled now, or you tell them they're going to a private school. In fact, we're going to need the records transferred. What? Well, no, you need to come to the television. No, we don't. We're gone. Goodbye. I'm paying taxes so that the teachers can sit on their dead ass rotating, just like the nurses are on their dead ass in the hospitals. And the employees there are on their dead ass doing jack, squat, nothing. Collecting dust bunnies with echoes down the corridor and no customers, but getting paid outrageous amounts of money to do less and less and less. That's communism, people. And now the teacher scam is the same way. Oh, we can't shut them down. It's so important. Yeah, right. Well, piss on you. Goodbye. And again, all attached to a stinking police state. The education system is tied to the police state. The medical system is now tied to the police state. And they're showing you, which means that you are going to have to get rid of the system you have. It needs to be gone. The technology, once you clear away all of the ravenous, money-sucking bureaucracy that has been stacked upon stacked upon stacked, it's going to be amazing. You're not going to know what to do, with your time, or figure out, well, how did things get so cheap? Because all the parasites that suck from your life's time will be gone. That's why.
And Mark, I will remind people, we never ceded any of this authority to them. They have taken it by subterfuge, by deception, and by fraud.
Yep. A lie. Compounded by 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 another lie.
What's the motto of the Mossad? By the way of deception, we shall make war.
Yep, which is exactly why it's the oi boys at every tier on this. Have you seen the clique down in Georgia that are all the ones manipulating the vote? They got the map of Israel all over their schmuck faces, every last one of them. And then you look at their names in the background, is half of them aren't even American. Here's the other thing about all this quote-unquote software. Why in the hell is foreign software involved in our American election?
I've been asking that for at least 10 years now.
As in, well, wait a minute. Why are we even doing electronic? We know that. We've argued this for decades. But we're now to the point where they took it so far around the corner and down the road that they don't want to directly talk about the fact that this is all Israeli-run trash. Every last stinking one of these cats that they stole, by the way. It's like the Inslaw. Does anybody remember the Inslaw case? It was out of Chicago. Does anybody remember the Inslaw case? I want you to go look that up and then take a look and go, I'll see how far back this goes. With regard to the Jewish mob, somebody invents something, but they're not with the tribe. So what they do is they fabricate BS and just flat out steal the people's intellectual property. I personally believe that's the Einstein scam. Seriously. Oh, Einstein was the smart. That's a BS propaganda moot. Einstein was where? He was in a patent office in Europe, like all the rest of these characters that are part of, well, we mentioned the Mossad. So guess what? Everybody's idea came to a central location. Oh, he only started out as a patent clerk. Well, where do you go when you want to confirm your idea and put it into an institutional format to protect your intellectual value? Oh, you go to the patent office. Oy, Vault, and then all of a sudden, look, you put all this stuff together, and it just happens that all the work was done by a bunch of German scientists who went with the tribe. Yeah, my ass. The older you get, more information you have, the more it's obvious where the problem is. Organize, arm, equip, and train as militia. And who are the unchosen? Who are you going to piss on? Because the government's going to tell you to piss on family members. So you're going to get to pick favorites, and your family's going to have an internal pissing match because they didn't get chosen over those others that did. That's why they kept that number real small. You see how that works? You see how they're playing the rubes? Yeah, we all understand this game. We've seen this all before. You know what? We're finished with it. God bless our republic.
Death to the New World Order.
We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The empire is on the run.
And we are on the march both day and night.
And have you picked the family members you're going to kick out of your house when they show up? I don't like you. I only like these four. I don't like you. And you weren't supposed to even show up. How dare you? How dare you? Oh, my God, where's my force field? Where's my body condom? Oh, the postulating ooze of that other family member. He's never been sick in his life. I don't care. I've been sick, and he hasn't. I hate him for that. That's why I don't want him. I don't want you to let him come to the family turkey thing. And wait a minute, you're not even really with the family. You're a Marian. Yeah, but I've got power because I'm with the tribe. Oh, that's right. You are Jewish, aren't you? Yeah. You know how that works. You know who's going to gravitate to by making the decisions. Anyway, we're going to go to break. We'll be back in a little bit. Next hour is, of course, live, too, so don't touch that dial. It is Communications Tuesday. God bless. Bye-bye.
This session is no longer being recorded. Goodbye.